Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and this video is on dividing fractions. So to divide fractions is actually pretty simple. All you need to remember is keep, change, flip. Now what this is talking about is if you had your fraction division, say you had a half divided by 3/4, you're going to keep the first bit the same, so we're going to keep the half the same. Now we're going to change the sign. So we're going to keep the half, change the sign, so that's going to become a times, and flip the end fraction, so that's going to become 4/3. And that's all that dividing fractions is. You just need to remember, keep the first one, change the sign, flip the second one. So if we put that into practice, here we have the first problem, and it says 8/10 divided by 5/2. So just like it said on the previous screen, we're going to keep this first bit here, so we're going to keep 8/10, change the sign, so that's going to go from a divide to a times, that's what it always changes to, and we're going to flip this m1, so it's going to become 2/5. And now all we do here is just times the top numbers and times the bottom numbers. So if we do 8 times 2, it's going to give us 16, and 10 times 5 is going to give us 50. And that is the first one divided. We can simplify that down to 8/25. But unless it says put it in its simplest form, you should be fine leaving it in 16/50. Here we have our second problem. We're going to do exactly the same. Keep the first fraction. So we're going to have 3/7. Change the sign. So that's going to turn to a times, as it always does. And flip the second fraction. So that's going to leave us with 12/2. Now if we times the top numbers by each other, 3 times by 12 is 36. And if we times the bottom numbers by each other, 7 times by 2 is 14. Now we can simplify that down to 18/7, and we can even write that as a mixed number. So we're going to be left with 2 and 4/7. But again, just like in the previous one, if it doesn't say put it in its simplest form, you should be fine leaving it as 36/14. Okay, so here we have our third problem, and it says 2/15 divided by a half. Now if we do exactly the same, keep the first one, we're going to have 2/15, change the sign, we're going to have a times, and flip the m1, we're going to be left with 2/1. If we times the top numbers, 2 times by 2, we're going to have 4, and 15 times by 1, that's going to leave us with 15. So the answer is 4/15. Now here we have our fourth problem, and it says 3/4 divided by 4/3. Now if we do exactly the same, keep the first number, we're going to be left with 3/4. Change the sign, we're going to turn it into a times, and flip the end one, we're going to be left with 3/4. That's going to leave us with 9/16. So here we have our fifth problem, and it says 1 3/4 divided by 4/5. Now this is exactly the same as the ones before, except for that we need to change our mixed number here into a top-heavy fraction. So what we do to do that is see how many there is before, and we have 1 before, and times that by the denominator. So if we do 1 times by 4, that's going to give us 4. Now with this 4, we're going to add that to our numerator, so 4 add 3 is equal to 7. So this fraction then just becomes 7/4. Carry on the steps exactly the same, so we're going to keep the 7/4, change the sign, so we're going to end up with a times, and flip the last fraction, so we're going to have 5/4. That's going to give us 5 times 7, which is 35, and 4 times 4, which is 16. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and comment down below any future video ideas that I could make to help you guys out. Also be sure to check out my social medias, which are all in the description box below.